to start this TED Talk off with a little story. Back in December, I was on a Confirmation 2 retreat with St. Paul's Catholic Church, and we went up Friday night. I was fine, didn't know what was going on. It was a normal weekend away, as every teenager needs a normal weekend away. Saturday night, after we did confession and whatnot, everybody's emotions were high, or there was a lot of, well, not a lot of tension. There was a lot of spiritual energy, I guess you could say. My two facilitators pulled me aside and told me that my grandfather had been admitted to the hospital and he was under life support. My dad had called earlier and told them to tell me, um, and I was shocked. I was in utter disbelief. I didn't know what to say. I just started crying. Um, I called my mom to figure out what was going on. My dad had flown to Miami to see them, to see his family, to see my grandfather, and my mom was in the loop necessarily, but she was not entirely in the loop of what was going on. And I just felt like I had been let down. I felt like I had been hurt. I didn't know what was going on. I really did not know my grandfather, which hurt me because I never had the chance to know him. I never had the chance to figure out how his life was before he immigrated to the United States from Cuba. Um, and I just started crying and I started wondering why is this happening? Um, I don't believe that this should happen. There's just so much that shouldn't have happened. And my message to you all is don't wait for something to happen to change your attitude. You have to change it yourself. Because I never got to know my grandfather. He doesn't remember me. He doesn't know who I am. Anytime I see him, he is unaware of me or he does not remember me. There was an instance where I hugged him and he was scared. I could tell it in his eyes. And this was 2 years ago, so this has been a long time. And just now I realized how much I really wish I had known what he was like, what he had done, what his life was like. And I'm telling you right now, if that's the case, if you have an instance where you have a family member who you haven't talked to, you don't really know, do it. Don't wait until last minute to do something that you feel like you need to do. Don't wait until it's too late to do what you know you should do, to talk to this person, to do something, and just do the right thing in your eyes or in your family's eyes for this person. Um, just so my message is find time for the small things. Find time to just do what you would like to do. Do what you know is the right thing, what you know you need in order to feel like you have lived a successful life. For me, I've always seen my grandfather as the quiet type, the type that does not un, under, like want to talk about what's going on. He has been through a hard time, and for me, it was always this distant character, this distant person I really did not know, and to know that he was in the hospital, it was just a moment of realization, a moment of um, just almost terror, since I never really got to know him. But I blame myself for that. And my message is: do not wait for something to come to you. Do not wait for an instance of regret or an instance of like an utter panic from the events unfolding. Do not wait for something to happen. If you want change, be the change you want to see in the world. For instance, if you do not necessarily, and you don't like hearing these stories of kids in Somalia or the hunger that's going on in Asia, or the way people are treated everywhere. I mean, hell, there are people dying every day in the Congo, and the UN is trying to prevent that, but there isn't a lot we can do because of the amount of just actual support for these armed killers, I guess you would say. So if you want to start that club, do it. If you want to start a charity, do it. Don't wait until the world is waiting on you. Let the world rely on you before anything happens. For right now there are people in Pakistan that are trying to. There's health workers that are trying to end polio, and they've been there for the longest time, but they're not receiving any support from the local population. There's rumors going on that this is just a Western plot to kill off the Taliban, to kill off the children that are affected. So the Pakistanis aren't even, the Pakistani people, not the government, but the people aren't even recognizing this aid. And part of that is the fact that a doctor went in and did blood work, and which helped us find Osama bin Laden, and now we don't have the trust of the people. But that is the consequences of our choices. The choices we make always determine who we will be, how people will see us, what we will end up deciding to do. And in my opinion, you cannot wait for something to happen. You have to start something. So you can't wait for a 13-year-old girl who is advocating girls' education in Pakistan to be shot in the head and released. She just got released yesterday from the hospital because of that. You can't wait for something like that to happen. You have to start changing things. You have to do what you think is necessary in the world. Be the change you want to see in the world. You can't just have this attitude of it is what it is. Personally, I hate that statement. I think it's extremely generic and whatnot. But you have to find time to do what you would like to do. Not necessarily in the world, necessarily not in your community, but maybe for yourself. If you don't feel like doing a lot for your community, try doing something for yourself. You can't just wait until, I'm going to do that. I'm going to start skiing because I have cancer and I may die in 2 months. That may be an extreme situation. However, it's something like that. You don't wait for something to happen. If you want to do something, go out and do it. This is not advocating where if you're mentally insane, you should go out and kill 20 people like it happened in Newtown. But if you have this, I want to do something, this want to actually do an activity, to want to start a club, start an organization, do something in your life, maybe some stuff that is on your bucket list, start doing it now, because things will happen to prevent you from doing that. I mean, my grandfather is 91. He's going to die soon. I don't really know him. The most I can do is try and get someone to translate for me about his adventures or his life before he moved to the United States, just as a way of understanding what he went through. You can't wait for something to happen and to change your attitude about what is going to happen. You have to do what you want at that time. If you want to learn how to snowboard, go snowboard. If you want to take a self-defense class, if you want to start building models, if you want to just whatever. If you want to do something, you have to do it before a situation arises that does not allow you to do that. That places a limited amount of time on you. And I guess the message, along with don't wait for something to happen, do it yourself, is don't procrastinate, such as homework and whatever, jobs, whatever you have to procrastinate on. Don't procrastinate. Do it so you can get it done, so you can actually start doing what you want to do. So in order to you have to live. You can't live in this fear of not something happening. If you want to do something, you have to go out and do it. You can't wait for an extraneous circumstance to come out of nowhere and say, you're going to die in 2 weeks. Do what you want for 2 weeks. You can't wait for that to happen. You have to take life into your own hands and do what you want to do based on the time you have and based on the activities that you would like to do. There is no time that you are allowed to just sit around on your couch and just watch, I don't know, Cold Case or whatever you decide to watch. That's a waste. In my opinion, that's just wasting your time in life. You have maximum 90, 100 years in this life before you pass, so you might as well make the most out of it. Which basically means do not procrastinate. Do not hold off on something that you would like to do. Be the change you want to see in the world and yourself and the people around you. Don't wait until the last minute to decide, I'm going to go do this thing. Do it now.